Tinker's Cart Art here, and I was just in Florida, and I love the palm trees in Florida, and I live in New England, so we do not have them here. But I wanted to show you a really quick and easy way to paint palm trees. I just finished this little gnome painting, which I'm going to call The Beach is My Second Gnome. And anyways, quick and easy. The palm tree was so simple. I'm just going to do a quick demo and show you how easy it is. How you going to paint it on a piece of paper for you here. Super duper quick and easy. And it's a little crookedy, but a few colors. It's all you need. I'm going to use that phthalo green that I like. It's a real dark blue green, just a primary cadmium yellow, white, black. I've got burnt sienna and burnt umber. You might not need even both browns, but I do like the darker for the start. Hey you guys, thanks for joining on here. Hi Karen, I think I'm fixed now, hopefully. I don't know how to figure out the orientation, but it will come in time, I'm sure. So I am only going to use a couple brushes too. I love this flat brush for the wide bits of the tree, and then the chisel edge for the thin bits. And you can see the little palm tree peeking out there. So I'm just going to start with my burnt umber. I want a really dark brown to start with. I'm going to add a little black. The brown is a little transparent. I'm going to use this wide brush, and it's going to be very easy just to paint our trunk. I don't sketch it on, but you can if you wish. And there's that dark trunk. So I get a little bit of a sway to it. I like the movement you get. You can make them go any which way. I just put my trunk on to start, let that dry, then I'll put the little details on. I want to start, like I do with so many things when I paint with you guys, really dark in the background and get lighter. So I'm using my phthalo green, but look, I'm mixing it with black. I want it really dark to start. And I'm going to use my chisel edge, and I'm going to get those little fronds on there. I'm putting the little fronds on like this just to start. Gives me an idea of where they're going to be. And then again with the chisel edge, I am just going to start and get some shape to them. The stroke that I'm using is I'm on the chisel edge, but I am pressing a little and pulling. So can you see how it starts out wider and it gets thicker? I'm painting on a paper here, so naturally it's drying a little fast and it gives you a little bit different texture, but you could use this technique on anything. And so I've got just a basic frond there done. So I'm going to do the same thing on all the rest. Sort of a little pressure and a little pull and lift off the paper, and you get those nice thin edges of the leaves. And you're going to be surprised how quick and easy this is. Really doesn't take any time at all. I do generally start from the outside edge and work down towards the trunk. They just lay a nice natural way if you do that. And this is just our first color. I start dark, like I said, and I'm going to get a little lighter green and a little lighter green and kind of a lime green, and end up with that lime green and just a little white mixed. This would be a great in the foreground of one of your sunset paintings. And the gnome painting is just finished, so I'll be doing something with that too. So you could add it to almost any beachy scene. Maybe not a New England beach scene because we don't have them, but I do love them. Okay, I'm going to rinse off my brush, and I'm going to get just a little bit lighter green now. And I'm going to do that by mixing that phthalo with some yellow, and you get some beautiful shades. I know you can buy all the shades in the bottle, but you can certainly mix a lot of your colors. If you have your primaries, you're good to go with mixing. I'm going right over what I did, no rhyme or reason. I'm not placing them or thinking about where they're going. I'm just adding on some of that light green now. And of course, yellow is so translucent. It would make this green a little translucent, and we're going to get some opaqueness to that by adding some white eventually. But for now, let's just get a little of that green in. I'm using those same strokes. It's drying quickly, like I said, because of the paper, so I'm continuously adding a little water to my paint. If you're painting along and the paint starts dragging on you, just add a little water as you go. I do that all the time. If you've been painting for a while and your paint's sitting on your palette, You need to freshen it up a little bit. I'll try to glance down here and say, oh good, thanks Karen, yeah. Any questions, let me know, but this is pretty super simple. And now I just get lighter and lighter, so I'm taking that same lime green color, I'm adding a little white to it. Once you'll get that on there, you'll see how it pops on top of the darks. Just make sure I get a little bit lighter there. So it's just your dark green, your phthalo, cad yellow, and some white. And just now I'm gonna go right on top. And now you've got some dimension to your leaves there. You've got a nice dark in the back, you're getting some lights. It's gonna behave much nicer for you on your canvas than it is on my paper here. But I just wanted to grab anything to paint on now just to give you a quick demo. Can you see how why I start dark and end up lighter? Because you really can get those colors to pop. If we started with just a middle shade of green, we wouldn't have too much dimension. We wouldn't have, we couldn't go much lighter and get those cool different shades. Okay. And that is basically what you need to do for your little, if I see it's a little dark still, I can just add some little lights in there. But I'm using the same strokes. I'm stacking those same strokes one off on top of another. I'll edit this video, put it on back on the page without all the upside downness. Okay, now the trunk is pretty simple. I don't get too complicated with that at all. I just take a smaller square brush, whatever size you might have. I've got my dark brown, so I want something lighter, so I'm going to just take the burnt sienna for now. And I'm going to work my way from the top of the trunk down, and I'm just making little strokes like this. Can you see it's almost like a little zigzag? I'm gonna lift this up so you can see a little closer, and I'm just going from one side to the other right on top. And when I go from my dark to my light, it's a little subtle in the middle shades, but that's okay. They're like little V's I'm making on there. And I'm going out a little bit far on the trunk. You don't have to go out quite so far, but I do like that texture sometimes. And so now what am I going to do? What I usually do, I'm going to get that color a little lighter, a little white with that burnt sienna. And I'm just going to dry brush, right on top of those guys. I have some of the burnt sienna still showing through, but now you can see that really shows up a little better. And there's a couple of different ways you could do these trunks, and I'll show you. But this is just a quick, if you're doing a whole stand of trees, and you could do little ones and big ones, they're really fun. I usually would do another one, you could always make another one here and another one here with the fronds coming off. And if you want a little different style for your trunk, we'll just say that this is that dark brown. But instead of doing those little crisscross little V strokes I'm doing, you could do that same idea with the burnt sienna first and just kind of do a little sideways stroke. You could have a little different type of palm tree if you like. And I'm painting wet on wet, but you'll get the idea. Just when I do the light stroke, you'll see. So you can kind of just do a little texture like that just goes across. There's all different ways, especially if it's a little one and you don't need a lot of detail. You can just do a little textured thing across there, or I like these little V strokes. I might have them a little tighter on the trunk, as you can see in the gnome painting, but you can see here it's just the little V strokes I did in burnt sienna, and then I just highlighted them a little bit with white here and there. And you can see how nice the lighter shades show up here on the canvas. It's just not drying so fast, and in the texture I got nice thin strokes with that chisel edge. If you're more comfortable, you of course could go in with your little round brush, any of your rounds, your details, or your dagger brushes or liners. But honestly, this one brush, and it's not an expensive one, it's just a synthetic, I get such nice wide strokes for my trunks, and then I can use the chisel edge and get any kind of little leaf shapes if I want. If I was doing more of a plant and not these little daggery strokes here. You can get some nice shapes in just for leaves with this flat brush. You've got your greens. I'm gonna get a little lighter green just to show you a little trick. And a little white just on the corner of one side and into that dark green for the other side. And with just the shape of the brush and some pressure and pulling, look, you can get some nice leaf shapes there. The first one is great because I've got the green. It's automatically blended in, this dark green and your white. You've got 3 shades with 1 stroke. As you go, the colors sort of mix a little, but then I just reload. I've got the colors right here. I get my green, a tiny bit of white, a tiny bit of dark green, and it's the shape is made by the pressure. Push down on your brush and lift up, and you've got a little point. So that's a fun little stroke to practice. When we were up here, we did a little pressure and then pulled. They're elongated, but down here, just taking, a little pressure and pull, pressure and pull. You could do all kinds of fun leaves on your paintings. So